the Museum of Art of Puerto Rico for more than 2 decades has been a leading organization in the development of arts education. And after being destroyed by Hurricane Maria, the museum's educational center has opened its doors to the public. Our Francis Felix was there at the inauguration and brings us this report.
Celebrating the International Day of the Museum of Art of Puerto Rico opened the new Educational Innovation Center that will provide the space for artists to learn and practice, developing the relationship between art and education. After being affected by Hurricane Maria, the Educational Innovation Center opened its doors to facilitate and support the research and practice of the art, community inclusion, and innovation. The reopening is possible thanks to the support of the Flamboyant Foundation for the Arts and the Miranda family.
We could not be more excited about the opening of the center here at the Museo de Arte de Puerto Rico. It's a really special day. We decided to give them $1 million grant 4 years ago, and to see the center opening and ready to invite people back to coming back to life, coming back to the arts, coming back to education, and the connection between art and education is absolutely critical for the museum. It's at the core of what the museum does. And for the Fundación Flamboyant, for our work, we couldn't be happier to see something that we've been talking about for 4 years come to life and come back to life. And that's what's really exciting.
Also, how important will be this center for the artists and new artists, and to combine the art and education?
So if you think about little kids coming into the museum, coming to this center, we have no idea which of those children will be Puerto Rico's next amazing artist. And to have them all come in, to all go through here, and to really get to connect with their culture, to get to connect with art. It's going to bring just joy to kids, and it's going to give them a new lease on why they come to learn. And I think all kids learn in very many different domains, and for them to be able to learn through art is really special. The actor and producer Lin-Manuel Miranda sent a message of gratitude and support to the arts in the island.
When we knew that we would be able to bring Hamilton to Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, my family and the producers committed to make sure that whatever resources the show brought would stay here to support the arts organizations that are so vital to the health of Puerto Rico. And the first call we made was to the Museo de Arte de Puerto Rico to see what their needs were. And they identified the educational floor immediately, which had been flooded by Hurricane Maria. So it is with great pride that I say that one of the first grants we made via the Flamboyant Arts Fund, even before Hamilton arrived, was for this incredibly important project.
When we came right after Hurricane Maria and Irma, we realized that part of what makes a museum be a museum is the importance of educating the communities around it, as well as educating the larger community. So when we saw what had happened and the need that the museum had to reopen the educational center, we knew that this would be the perfect investment. And as it's been said before, one of the first 5 grants that we gave, was to Museo de Puerto Rico to reopen, reconstruct, and rebuild the educational programming. People wanted to help, and we created a vehicle through the Hispanic Federation to help the many needs that Puerto Rico had. We said the next initiative, it's going to be for the arts, because at the end of the day, the arts is Lin-Manuel's expression. So when we agreed to bring Hamilton to Puerto Rico, we knew that all of the profits around Hamilton will be earmarked for the arts.
The center includes a library, a study and research room, a multi-purpose room, a nursing room, and a press for engraving and screen printing workshops, among others. The Educational Innovation Center will be free for entrance to the general public. From Santurce, Puerto Rico, Francis Felix.
All right, thanks so much, Francis. Well, meantime, Jamaica's Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, urged citizens to remain calm and protect themselves from COVID-19. That says the virus in the island is now experiencing their fifth wave during the pandemic. Jamaica has been seeing an increase in the positivity rate and daily infections in recent weeks. The health minister told a media briefing on Wednesday morning that the fifth wave is likely due to the highly transmissible Omicron BA.2 subvariant. Dr. Tufton said this fifth wave differs from the other four waves and that the severity of illness, along with the length of hospital stay, is now shorter, reiterating that vaccination is still the best form of protection against the virus.
While the majority of cases appear to be mild, persons with comorbidities are at risk for severe illness, and persons who have mild symptoms and no symptoms may be at risk for developing long COVID. And so the public is therefore encouraged to practice infection prevention control measures, including the wearing of masks, hand washing, physical distancing, and very importantly, staying at home. If you are sick, the protocols are there around staying at home. If you are positive or if you feel ill, then you really ought to stay at home. And I think the protocol is up to 10 days and then you return. With all of this, of course, we're trying to balance the normal restoration of activities in the society.
And Education Minister Fayval Williams, who also spoke at that briefing, said that at least 6 high schools have now returned to online classes for some students due to an increase in cases at the school building. She said further details about students sitting external examinations and other protocols will be shared shortly, and that town hall meetings will be held to answer questions from both parents and teachers.
Over the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have seen an increase in the number of persons who are suspected or confirmed to be infected within our schools, and I'll get to those numbers shortly. In response, we again disseminated a recent bulletin to the education system alerting our stakeholders about the current situation and reminding them to enforce the COVID-19 protocols to ensure the safe operations of schools. School administrators were also asked to resensitize all key stakeholders about the protocols to be observed, including the frequent washing of hands, temperature checks, wearing of masks, mask breaks, and so on.
Well, meantime, CDC vaccine advisors are set to vote Thursday on COVID boosters for children ages 5 to 11. The FDA has already granted emergency use authorization for the booster, citing a rise in COVID cases due to the Omicron wave. Pfizer, who makes the booster dose for children, says its shot raises Omicron-fighting antibodies by 36 times in this 5 to 11 age group, and that no safety issues were found in its vaccine trial of 4,500 children. The FDA says that while COVID tends to be less severe in children than adults, the Omicron wave has led to more kids being hospitalized and can lead to long-term health issues even after a mild case. And switching gears now, U.S. President Joe Biden is urging Americans to pay close attention to weather alerts this hurricane season. Before receiving a briefing on hurricane preparedness at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, Biden said the government is ready for another active hurricane season. He warned that storms are growing more intense with shorter notice for readiness. A recent Colorado State University study predicts this year's season from June through November could see 19 named storms with 9 hurricanes. If the predictions come true to fruition, this will be the 7th above-average season in a row. Those with FEMA and NOAA say complacency and lack of preparedness are what keeps them up at night, and they want everybody, no matter where you live, to have a plan, especially in the Caribbean region.
2021 was the third most active hurricane season ever recorded, including the first hurricane to hit the Northeast in 30 years, killing more than 100 people and causing billions of dollars in damage. And given the climate crisis, it's likely to, we expect another tough hurricane season. And storms are going to be more intense, and we're going to have shorter notice, as we saw last year with Hurricane Ida.
Now, Biden also spoke about climate change and the prospects for more wicked wildfires in the western U.S. region.